Elon Musk is the perfect example of rational thinking. The marketplace accepted that it's not possible to create good electric cars because of the high battery prices. Then, by using first principles, Elon Musk decreased the price from 600 kW per hour to 80 kW per hour. He questioned it, dissected, analyzed and built it up. He discovered that no, the price wasn't that high, just the manufacturers who were creating those batteries put the price that high. The materials were easy to collect and the creation is not hard. By using rational thinking, he overtook the market. Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. I have one question to you. What if we view the world falsely? In the same way electric car companies thought that it's hard to create good electric cars, what if we are viewing the world in a fake lens? That would explain a lot of our problems, and in the last 2 years I've been learning from a lot of high-value individuals, from entrepreneurs and businessmen and people in that nature, and I realized one big difference. The poor people think that they view the world correctly, while the rich questions everything. The poor people think that their opinions, their thoughts, their political party or whatever is right, while the rich people question their own ideas, their own opinions and their own thoughts. Jeff Bezos, who has one of the $1 trillion companies, has only one rule. That's laws of physics. There is no such thing as impossible. He questions everything. The only law he abides by is the law of physics. He is also another rational thinker who was able to create something new and big, but the examples could go on with Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates and many more. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The thoughts you have shapes your reality. The Bible says that as a man thinketh, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. If you have fake thoughts, then you will view the world falsely. We are viewing the world through a glass. It's our biases. We like to think we are right, but usually we are not. Imagine that the world is blue, but we are looking at the world through a red glass. The world is red for us. It's like your beliefs. They change your reality even though you don't know about it. Like if you don't believe you can make $1,000 online, you will never make it. I talked about this much more in depth in a brain rewiring video, but if you need more help because you suffer with negative thoughts and anxiety, check out the self-architect link down below. And this is the problem we face. We think we are right, we think we are viewing the world correctly, when it's not true. We are viewing the world through a subjective lens. There is an objective where everything is true and the subjective reality where we live our life. The more we can overlap these two circles, the more we align with reality. The more we align with reality, the more success we are going to have. If you've been programmed to go to university and work for 40 years, then retire, that will be your reality. But the objective truth is that you can make money otherwise, and you can retire when you want. But if you don't align your subjective reality with the objective reality one, you will suffer the consequences. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. The only question is, how can we view the world correctly? How can you view the world objectively? How can we change our perception and how we look about the world into the correct lens? And I think it comes back to being aware and mental models. Be aware. What is awareness? The easiest word to describe it is realizing. Realizing your thoughts, realizing the environment, realizing your mental frameworks, realizing how you think, realizing your biases, realizing your beliefs. I don't know if realizing is a synonym for awareness, but this is the word I can use to describe it. Now your question could be how to be aware, and I have already talked about this in the focus video, and I have the product down below, which is the self-architect, if you want more help with that. Otherwise, let's get into the beliefs. As already stated, for more in-depth guide, go watch this video. You have beliefs. You believe that God exists or not. You believe that the world is flat or it's round. These beliefs help you navigate through the world. Unlimited information is flowing to your brain every single day. If you do not have beliefs, you will fall into chaos. Beliefs are what helps us navigate in the world when information comes. If you wouldn't have this decision-making process, you couldn't orient or live in this world. You couldn't do any activity, like you wouldn't be able to. The beliefs you have save you from chaos. But the reality is that it doesn't mean they are good beliefs. Let me ask you this simple question. If you have a vegetable that you don't like, why? The objective reality is that it has a taste. The taste is some chemicals. But your subjective reality is that you don't like it, and that's a belief. Maybe you remove something from your life which is actually helpful because you believe that it's not good, it's not tasty, or it's not good for you, you don't want to eat it. That's just only your belief. I know that people have different taste buds and they have inclination to like some tastes and different ones, but the truth is, objective reality is this, and this is your subjective reality. If the taste is this, based on chemicals, and this is your reality, you somehow shift these two realities that can either be good for you or be bad for you. Similarly to the vegetable, you have beliefs that change how you view the world. So if I ask you this question, are you good at math? If you answer with a yes, that means you're a good path to becoming an objective thinker. But if you say no, then you will create a reality for yourself that whatever you do, you cannot be good at the math. Beliefs are as important as any skill in whatever you want to achieve. If you want to be a great athlete, you need the same skills and you need the same beliefs. So if you need more help, check Self-Architect. Biases. Biases are similar to beliefs but not exactly the same. The best way to describe how a bias is by showing you the picture where there is a glass in the middle between you and the world. And through your bias, you're viewing the world differently. There are many, but we are going to talk about only 3. First, confirmation bias. This is the bias where you deliberately search for information that aligns with your already existing beliefs. For example, if you believe that you cannot be great at math, you're going to search for ideas, opinions, which proves this point to yourself. You will avoid every single information that proves the opposite of what you believe. This is a common bias that people have, and this is one of the worst one because it's really a big pitfall and it's really hard to climb out. But the reality is that if you try to be objective, you have to remove this. Second, conviction bias. It's the bias where you convince yourself that your opinions, your ideas, your thoughts are the true ones. As mentioned, it's more likely in the poor people's mind when they are trying to prove themselves that they are the right ones, their opinion are true. This also comes from the confirmation bias, because when you know what you are thinking about, what are your beliefs, then you're going to only search for information that proves this, and you're going to convince yourself that you are the best person on the earth. Like if I would question or go against your political party, you would be so angry because you believe that it's the only right one. Anchoring bias is the bias where you rely heavily on the first information encountered. So firstly, I talked about being aware and the beliefs. So if you don't listen to the next part of the video, you're going to only focus on the first part, that is your anchoring bias. A good solution for this is to constantly search for new information. At last, understand that you need to be constantly aware of your biases, your beliefs, and how you think, because if you don't question them, you're only going to view the subjective reality. And if you want to change your reality, you need to change what's in here first. Mental models. Mental models are like lenses to the cameras. You can pick and choose whatever you want, and still you can see the world through an objective lens. Some gives a bigger picture, some moves you closer. There are multiple mental models, but I'm going to bring you here 3, which I think the most important ones. Inversion. Inversion is the mental model where we achieve something through its opposite. So if I want to ask you, tell me what is focus, could you tell me? Well, no, because it's really hard to describe what is focus, but if we invert it, what is not being focused? Well, being distracted. So we know that if we are not distracted, we are focused. For a business example, rather focusing on how can you make the customer happier, you can think about what would make the customer unhappy and remove those. This is a really powerful method, and I love this one, and I used it in rewiring my brain into thinking always positively, because I could invert how I view the world. Rewiring the brain video can help you with that. First principles. This is the mental model where we break down things into its core components which cannot be further questioned. For example, if I want to understand how to make money, I can break it down. I can break it down to there is someone with a problem, there is someone with a solution, and there is a transaction of value in the between. Elon Musk used this successfully in his business venture, as we already talked about. He realized that, oh, really expensive? No, it's not actually. Just let me think about, let me search what are the materials. Cobalt, copper, titanium, aluminium. I'm not even sure these are the materials for a battery, but he looked at them and they said it's easy to gather them. I'm just going to create mine. He took over the market. A simple framework to use this is dissect, analyze, and build. This is how Elon Musk did it, and I think we can all use it for our own advantage. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is when you rationally approach a problem or an argument. No biases, no opinions, only rational thoughts. So just think about politics. If you are, I don't know, a left winger, right winger, doesn't matter, and you get an opinion from someone who is different than you, then you can rationally look at that piece of advice and pick out what is true from it and what's not true. This is critical thinking, and there is an easy method which was created by Sam Ovens. Firstly, remove yourself. Second, identify objects. Thirdly, identify relationships. Fourthly, identify timeline. Fifthly, remove emotions. And sixthly, remove loops. So it kind of looks frightening, but let us go through an example so you understand it more clearly. Let's say you have a friend group and you have 3 friends and there is a problem which you want to solve. Now, first step, you have to remove yourself. You are not in this friend group, you're just observing this friend group to an objective lens. Second, identify objects. You have to identify these friends you have with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Thirdly, we have to identify relationships. We have to think about what is happening. I don't know, first person hates the third person, or second person hates the fourth person, and fourth person likes the first and doesn't like the second. And when you have that, you can identify a timeline. Happened before that led up to this point. What was the mistakes? I don't know. Someone said something bad for the other person and that person now hates them. What led up to this moment? You have to draw a timeline. The fifth one is removing the emotion. This is one of the hardest steps. When you see who is the cause of the problem, you have to be emotionless. Even though it can be you, it can be your friend, you have to be emotionless and solve the problem in that way. The sixth one is removing loops. If somehow there is a loop, you have to remove that, and in this example it doesn't exist. With these steps you get a profound understanding on how to use critical thinking, and it's really powerful. After you have all this, you have to just solve the problem, and that's easy. That comes from creativity, and I already have a video about it. This is a thumbnail, you can check it out. Basically, I have used this method to understand content creation. I have created the first part of it, and from there I created this by using first principles. This is how I define content creation. It's really interesting. If you need content creation help, check the singularity down below. These are the 3 mental models I advise you to use consistently and master them. If you need 8 more, then check Self-Architect down below. Thinking methods. Not so long ago I met with this idea that our mind has 3 different types of thinking. There is visual, auditive and sensory thinkers, and the ratio between them is 75%, 20 and 5%. If you are a visual thinker, you like to think in images, you like to draw, you like to imagine the picture, and you will use more words in your sentences which represents visual things. Like, let's see, we will see, let's take a look at it, and 75% of the people are like this. If you're an auditive thinker, you like to think while speaking, so you're murmuring to yourself and you're speaking. So you use words that represent this auditive thinking. Like, I hear you, that sounds good, listen to this, and 20% of the people are like this. If you're a sensory thinker, you like to touch and feel things, that is how you think. And you will use words related to touching and sensory inputs. Get a grip on this, I feel you, let's get in touch. And 5% of the people are like this. Now, why this matters for us is that if we need to think rationally, if we need to think in not subjective terms but objective terms, we can use this language to write texts that help us. Different minds don't understand each other that well. So if I want to write an email to my boss and he is a visual thinker but I'm an auditive thinker, I have to transform how I write my sentences into a visual thinker's method, and I'm going to see more success. This is a really niche place, but I think it can help anyone on their journey. This is how you think rationally and see the world through an objective lens. If this helped you, click the like button, subscribe, follow, blah 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 blah. This was my video, and I hope you're doing fine, everything is great. Check Singularity and Self-Architect link down below, and we'll see you next time.